is Naomi DePena from Hope to Courage. I am today joined with one of our collaborators for this 21 Days of Gratitude. And as you know, through Hope to Courage, we have been providing you with a toolkit, giving you the ability to ascend from fear to hope and from hope to courage. And today we will be talking with Caryn O'Sullivan from Appetites for Health. Welcome, Caryn.
Hi, great to be a part of this whole initiative. Thank you.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for saying yes. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate your heart. And why don't you just go ahead, please introduce yourself. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I am a clinical nutritionist and board certified nutrition specialist. I have an MS in nutrition and integrative health, and I was also a certified health coach for about 12 years. So I've been in the field for a while studying nutrition, and my business is Appetites for Life. And primarily, I work with women who are dealing with energy issues. Um, Autoimmune disorders, gut health issues, anything that's like really dragging down our energy. So it kind of covers a broad but specific point of view. Um, and I absolutely love what I do. And I'm excited to share some information with people on this challenge and help people feel empowered because we have been immersed in messages of fear and helplessness and hopelessness for the past 2 years, and hard to believe
Yes,
this has been going on for 2 years.
I know, right?
And even beyond that, even
Yes,
before that, there has always been this lack of an emphasis on what we can do to create health. So I'd like to use this space in these 21 days to help people turn attention to the ways that they can create health in their lives. We've been so focused on disease, let's focus on health.
yes. And that is so powerful what you just mentioned about, how we can create health and that connection between what we put into our bodies, whether it is in our minds, whether it is in within our bodies in terms of what we eat and how we eat it, and that connection to that. Because we live very busy lives. And a lot of times the foods that we go for under stress, under rush, are not necessarily the ones that nourish our body the most. So, can you talk a little bit about just that connection between stress and how we eat?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen it time and again, especially over the last couple of years, more stress eating, emotional eating. When we are stressed, we're in that state where cortisol, adrenaline are pumping. We get more sugar cravings. We need caffeine boosts because we're tired. We go for things that give us quick boosts of energy because our bodies get drained from that
Mm,
chronic stress cycle. And those are foods that are very addicting, sugar, caffeine. And they're not always the best choices for the body. They will drag you down over the long term as well. You get a lot of ups and downs and rushes and then drops. So when we are in that state of stress, we need to make sure we balance that out with proper nourishment and nutrition by whole foods and vegetables, foods that create more balanced energy, more balanced blood sugar to help nourish us longer and build up our defenses so we can deal with environmental stresses, mental stresses, emotional stresses a little bit better. We're on less of a roller coaster.
yes. And the thing with food, right? It's like you said, right? These foods are addicting. I was one that, I've always taken very good care of my health. However, when we began in this whole process and we were not going home, I started baking everything that I had because now I had time, right? I was busy. Now all of a sudden I'm making brownies, and I love the memories that are surrounding food, but
Mhm.
sometimes we assign this meaning to food, right? We assign the meaning to that memory because it reminds us of good times. It reminds me of Christmas, reminds me of good memories. But ultimately, it's not the food itself, right? It's actually the memory, the moment that we have created. So I love that when we start learning how to eat better, how to support our body, we can also create new memories for ourselves, but also for our
Yeah.
children.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, there's been a lot of comfort eating going on
Yes.
because what you said, we're searching for something that comforts us, some sort of memory that soothes us. That's why food is so often used as
Yes.
a uh, what is the word
It's a
I'm looking
source of
for?
comfort for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
certainty, absolutely, because so much is changing around us every day from a moment to moment. So food is one thing that you can say, I know that if I'm eating this, I will receive this satiation. I receive this automatic right away, this support that I feel emotionally that I need. And I love what you are preparing for us for these 21 days, right? A webinar specifically focused on food and mood. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
Yeah, so I thought this would be a really great topic because there's been so much fear, so much anger, sadness, grief. We have been just a mixture of emotions the last couple of
Mm,
years. I mean,
yes.
augmented, much more than it used to be. As we know, look at the state of our country, there's a lot of polarization. There's a lot of
Yes.
anger. I know I was guilty of it myself. I mean, very angry at people and reacting to this different ways than I did, of limiting my freedoms, of not being able to do the things that I wanted to do. And it was almost sort of a grieving process as well.
Mm,
So that's one of my goals. I'm really hoping the gratitude will replace the fear and the anger and all that
yes.
this year. Um, but I think it's important to note, and I did some studies on, a study for a year on the link between Chinese medicine and diet and the body and health. And it was really fascinating, really eye-opening. And there's a big emphasis on how certain emotions affect certain organs in the body.
Mm,
So anger affects liver, fear affects kidney. And when we have too much of these emotions, those organs get taxed, those organs get exhausted. So when you're living in a constant state of fear, we have to make sure that we well, not only do things for our mental state and stress to help release that fear, but also that we are nourishing our kidneys with certain foods.
mm,
Blacks and blue foods are very nourishing to the kidneys, the darker foods, salty things. Um, and so we can use food as therapy to help support our mood and the moods that we want to create, and support our organs to create overall health. So those
mm,
are some of the things I'd like to share with people, um, and how they can use food therapeutically as medicine in a way, we put medicine in quotes, but in a way to create health for the body and bring it back together with that message that we are not helpless here. We know that there are
yes.
many things that help us be more resilient towards what's going on now. Things like, vitamin D, things like quercetin, and those are things that we can find in food. We can find
Mm,
quercetin in apples and onions. These are things that we can incorporate into our diets on a daily basis to just help us feel a little bit more resilient, a little bit stronger, a little bit more empowered. I'm still brainstorming on all the little things that I'm going to talk
but it feels
about,
so good.
but there's so much, and I want to really
Yes.
narrow it down to a cohesive and empowering message.
Yes, but I appreciate you speaking on that because in times when we might feel like so much is out of our control, one thing we can decide is what do I eat?
What do
When
I
do
put
I
in my
eat it?
body?
What do I
Yeah.
put in my body? And the fact that that gives us that, humans have that need for certainty. We have a need to
Mhm.
feel secure and for comfort. And when you can create that with food, rather than saying I'm going to go for the cookie, I'm going to go for the sugary foods that are going to give me comfort, I can look at this apple as you mentioned and I can say this is a source of comfort for me. It's a source of certainty that I'm supporting my body because wow, we've been created in such an amazing way, right? How our organs support us, but also
Mhm.
how the emotions that we allow within ourselves affect our organs. So we want to support our full body. We want to create a space that is conducive for healing and is conducive for health and thriving. So I love that you are going to be sharing this empowering message to all of us. I just want to mention that this will be on Thursday, January 20th at 7:30. It's a webinar, so you can join us from wherever you are. Our 21 days of gratitude are starting on January 9th all the way to January 30th. This will be hosted on Thursday evening. 7:30 p.m. This is on Eastern Standard Time. So follow our social media posts so that you can see more information about the Zoom link and where you can join us. Now, Caryn,
Yep.
you have so much information, so much to share. Where can people tap into your resources and your services? How can they learn more about what you do?
Well, the best place to learn more is on appetitesforlife.com on my website. I also have Facebook and Instagram at Appetites for Life with the handle there. So you can find me there, like my page. I'll be posting stuff all month, kind of integrating with this challenge. And every month I have a different theme that I post on with lots of different recipes and free resources,
Right.
inspiration. So I look forward to seeing everybody come in there and finding out more.
Excellent. Thank you once again for saying yes to these 21 days of gratitude. Thank you for what you do and for, just the journey that has brought you to this time, because I acknowledge the amount of years that it's taken for you to design something that makes sense for people, that's accessible. And thank you for all the free resources that you put out there. Once again, thank you for joining us today, Caryn. And everyone, go ahead and follow her, show her some love, and appetitesforlife.com.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.